Welcome to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast for club owners, operators, and fitness professionals. Each week, host Bryan O'Rourke brings you an expert interview with a global influencer at the crossroads of fitness and technology. You gain the insights, tools, and inspiration you need to stay connected to the pulse for what matters most for your business in the age of exponential technologies.
Welcome, listeners. I am your host, Bryan O'Rourke, and thanks for joining me on the podcast today. Before we get started, I want to remind everyone that the IHRSA event is in Miami this year in June. Link in the show notes. Please register. Please join. It's going to be a great show. We look forward to seeing everyone there. Unfortunately, I won't be at FIBO this year, but next year certainly, and the event's there. And so kudos go out to my colleagues, Jose, Alan, Hans, and others. I know Liz Clark from IHRSA will be at the event, which is fantastic. So have a beer for me in Cologne, and I hope everyone enjoys the event. So now, without further ado, I want to talk about our award ceremony. We had the team, Caroline and her team from Accenture, help us in the process of processing our nominations for our annual Fitness Industry Innovation Awards from FITSE. As you know, we're a nonprofit. We have a consortium group globally of over 40-some members. And this award seeks to recognize innovators, the best operators, the best suppliers, and fitness industry professionals, 3 categories. So we have some great winners, some great runner-ups, and this is excerpts from our podcast, or actually our webinar we did with the Accenture team outlining the nomination process, what happened, and who won. So I do hope you enjoy it, and please let me know if you'll be coming to IHRSA in June in Miami. I'd love to see you. So without further ado, let's get to the awards. You know, as I mentioned, this year is our second year. A little bit of background, of course, Fitness Industry Technology Council, is a nonprofit that has around 45, a consortium of 45 global partners. And our mission is to help people figure out how to adopt technology in a thoughtful way that helps advance their business models. So we have had the pleasure this year, as a result of our board of directors, to connect with Caroline and her team from Accenture. So at this time, I'd like to ask Caroline to say hello and introduce her team. Caroline, thank you for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having us, Bryan. I'm very glad to be here and to be with all of you to announce these FITSE Awards. So we are a team from Accenture, and I think, Bryan, you sold us much better than we actually do. And we are passionate, a bunch of passionate people about fitness. And we kind of started this little group together, like the 3 of us, and we've had people come and go in this little group. But basically, we want to know, who is at the forefront of the industry, what's new in the fitness industry, and, keep being passionate to our work and our, side activities about fitness. So again, it was really great to be part of this journey, to kind of dedicate time to this FITSE Award and to think about it with you. So thanks for having us again.
Thank you very much. And Scott and Greg, thank you all as well for participating today. We really appreciate all your help.
Yes, Bryan, thanks for the opportunity. We're really grateful to be here. It's been a lot of fun to engage with you and to get to know these companies better and really dig into what's happening in the fitness space. As Caroline mentioned, this has been a passion of ours for some time, and so really it was fun to dig in and get to learn about what's happening in the space.
Yeah, well, we very much...
Scott and Caroline said it, yeah.
It's wonderful, Greg. Thank you all. So let's jump right in. First, before we get started, of course, a thanks to our prior award winners from last year, MXM, and of course our friend Blair for the supplier side, our good friend Bernardo with SC Fitness out of Portugal, phenomenal team, my friend Jose there, who's fantastic with his team. They've done a lot of great work there, and of course Brianna Cox. Thank you all for doing what you do and continue to do, and I just wanted to recognize them for their efforts last year, and as they continue to do great things. So, Caroline, do you or one of your team members want to talk a little bit about the process here?
Yeah, I can go first.
Yes, Scott can go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, sure. So first, our aim was, Bryan, to provide kind of an unbiased third party to come in, since I know you're very close, Bryan, with many of these companies. Yeah. So what we did is we went through the applicants to these different categories. We looked with a very simple but also deep dive into what are they doing in this space. So we really wanted to know, are they making an impact? And how big of an impact is that? And so we looked, again, kind of through a lens of how can we be unbiased to provide kind of a lens of, hey, this is really interesting, really innovative. So this is innovation, right? And then the three of us, so Caroline, Greg, and myself, along with other team member Stan, who's not with us today, looked at each of these companies and we took a deep dive individually. Then we came back to you, Bryan, and we said, hey, we recommend a leader and a quick fast follower for each of these three categories to say these companies are really the leaders in the space from the applicants we saw. And then we had kind of a good, fruitful conversation back and forth to talk about them with you and to say, hey, we recommend this. And then you were really very unbiased and very gracious with listening to our feedback and then kind of going back and forth to say, okay, does this really make sense? So I think it was really a good collaborative process that led to, from us doing research about these companies that then led to our final recommendations here. And Greg, Caroline, if you have anything to add to that, please do keep me honest and weigh in.
I'll just say that I was really excited to see all these different trends that we uncovered in this little analysis that we got to partake in. I'll just go along the line here. The professionals, it was so encouraging. Just the amount of gamification that's out there. Folks that have really responded to the COVID's detrimental impact on small businesses and brick and mortar facilities. How do we adapt and carry on and more than that, thrive? So all these nominees brought something unique and interesting to this space. And I think we really got to see which ones are, the most innovative and the most disruptive. It was a really fun process.
Yeah, and in an almost post-COVID era, it was also great to see how both trends from before COVID and during COVID could merge together. And I think we can see that in the facility kind of winner that we've seen. So it was really great to see that as well.
It was, and let me note this. First off, please get your nominations in for next year as soon as you can. We'll have that on our website. We'd like even more participation. We have got a lot of participation, and some very deserving candidates are not going to get recognized this year. But please resubmit. The purpose of this is to help people think about innovation and be motivated by the stories around these successes that are really. They're roadmaps. They're great examples of what everyone should be thinking about, to your point, of the future and becoming the next best version of yourselves as companies by adopting technology in a thoughtful way. So a great process, and we're so glad you all were part of it. So the first thing we're talking about is Fitness Facility Award. And, this is kind of about using technology innovation to differentiate and to serve as a disruptor, as you all have mentioned. Now, this first brand I'm going to comment on, and then I want your input, my friends from Accenture. I've been talking about this brand for a number of years, just watching their leadership and their, because they're public, their model and how they have really done a phenomenal job, both showing up in their financial returns and the way they're delivering user experience, and that's Basic Fit. The team, Renee, of course, the CEO, who has an unbelievable track record, and his, team around him, including Marcel, of course, who I was able to interview on my podcast a little over a month ago. Basic Fit, just to me, is one of the most innovative facility operators in the world for a lot of reasons. What are your comments on that, my friends?
Yeah, couldn't agree more, Bryan. So a couple things. One, they have found a way to appeal to a large group of people. Actually, European-based. They've got a pretty big audience in Amsterdam. So they found a way to create a really innovative, creative way to reach out to folks 24/7, right? So always open. really interesting way to, again, bring together lots of different people and in a low cost model. So adapting to kind of the times that is COVID, and also reaching lots of people. Caroline, Greg, anything you want to add? I know you were fairly close with facilities.
What really struck me with Basic...
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead, Greg.
I was going to say, what really struck me with Basic Fit is not just a low-cost model, but the 24/7 operations that they employ, which is pretty unique. It's taking fitness in new directions. Sure, there's other 24/7 gyms out there, but again, their process and effectiveness during the COVID wave was fairly innovative, and it led to better membership, usership, and overall better quality of experience and better business practice.
And I think it's also a good example from an enterprise perspective, right? How they kind of tailor their model to actually make sure that they launch studio after studio. So they're very streamlined in the way that they think about launching one studio, and they replicated that model across the board, which I think make them, consider going into Germany right now.
Yeah.
So they have not only really implanted 1,000 studios, I think, in the Netherlands, but they're also going cross borders now, despite COVID and despite the kind of drawback that they've experienced during COVID. So it's been very interesting to see kind of like brick and mortars not being, dead as we thought it was during COVID.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job.
Scale and adaptability.
Yeah, they've done a tremendous job. Hats off to our friends there. Congratulations. Now, we're going to mention our honorable mention runner-up as well, and there were a lot of them, but the team picked out GoFit, and this is a single location at the present time, but it's controlled by Evolution Wellness, and of course, their CEO, Simon Flint, out of Kuala Lumpur. And as many of you know, Evolution Wellness, they operate, I think it's 7 brands now. They have, I think, over 170 locations in 6 countries in Asia. And similar to Basic Fit, GoFit just did a great job of integrating technology with a low-cost kind of model with a lot of built-in tech, a lot of very thoughtful integrated tech in their delivery. What are your comments on that?
Yeah, I'll start, and I'll say you nailed it, right? So thoughtful, innovative, and that led them to be able to scale pretty fast, right? So they went from idea to solution, I think in only 6 months' time. They have some self-service kiosks, which I thought was a really interesting, again, thoughtful use of technology. So basically, in this time of COVID, they had to act fast as a way to manage the space remotely, right? So we no longer live in a space where we can have staff working directly with members, and so it was a way to kind of interesting, innovative way to get folks still engaged in fitness and using technology to enable that.
I agree. They were able to differentiate themselves and prove that they had some disruption in their model. It was, great company.
Yeah, very, very good company and great leadership over there. Simon's well known. He's got a tremendous track record. So again, more innovative work, and congratulations to the GoFit team and Evolution Wellness. Now let's explore the Supplier Award. And in that regard, it was a creative device or app that addressed kind of an unmet need or kind of new or different market, right? And boy, there are a ton of different opportunities there. We had a number of applicants and some terrific companies. One really stood out though, a German business. I've come across them before, based out of Munich. Very interesting. You all mentioned gamification before, integration of physical and digital, kind of different user experience. And that's MultiBall. They've won a number of other awards in the past several years. Their embedded technologies in gaming, in the way they do things with their app and competition. Just a very, different kind of supplier. What are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I'll start, and I'll just say that this company blew us away. We had a lot of fun thinking about kind of imagining what could the future look like, and they're really forward leaning, right? So especially as we lean into the metaverse, right, is a very popular term these days. This company really blew us away, and Greg and Caroline will add to that, I'm sure. So basically, they have used technology to really gamify, to bring what could be really interesting XR technology and also interest in fitness, and combine those two, right? And so super fascinating. They also have found ways to transcend from like advertising and other things that would be useful for this kind of technology, and also enter into the fitness world. So they've used their technology in different ways, right? So I think that they've worked with BMW and other major car companies. Greg, I know you went pretty deep on this one. Any thoughts you want to add?
Their use of mixed reality and a gamification as well as education standpoint really made them stand out. It shows that they're very ingenuitive, innovative, and they're forward thinking in how they can engage with customer base.
And so also about gathering people, right? Because we see children in this picture. So it's not only about adults, but also children and children education, which we all know is very important. And the fact that children are attracted to technologies, right? Whether we want it or not, I think it makes a good interaction between like being educated through technology, yet moving a lot and being with your friends, either as a child or as a grown-up. And I think that's really, that's really great to see. And the picture is actually the best picture to show this technology, right? It's a bunch of kids together having fun, using technology to be educated and being very active. Yep. And I think, it all starts about being educated about, certain topics, and working out, exercising is definitely one of them.
Yes. It's a pretty cool company. I've watched it for the last, I think, year and a half. When you all selected them, I thought it was a very good choice, a real different, refreshing kind of innovative solution. The next one is a mention, kind of an honorable mention, runner-up is CIPIO.ai, and one of their founders, Sandeep, I've met and spoken with, and then Grouse and Edwards I've spoken with, and I've watched this company emerge. This is a pretty interesting application because the cost of digital advertising is going up so much. This tool and platform enables, and I'll give it kind of the 10 cents version to explain it. It enables brands to kind of ferret out who are the relevant influencers and how to engage with them to get a far better ROI and build community for fitness facilities. So it's like a marketing tool that's pretty interesting in what it does in building brand community. So what are your all thoughts on this one? A good choice.
Yeah, similar to the last one is, again, using technology in a way that's really interesting and innovative to drive customer insights, right? So in this case, AI, machine learning, which almost, right, as you know, Bryan, becomes kind of almost like a buzzword, but they have found a way to drive insights with that and then reach lots of people doing that. So again, super fascinating company. I think they did a big implementation with a large gym, which proves that this is here to stay and can drive big change. Greg, Caroline, anything you want to add to that?
I was going to pause for Caroline, sorry.
No, I'm happy to do that. I think that, a while back, the three of us and our group had these thoughts about how to, gather fitness crowds around one topic. And I think what we would call that, the word escapes me, but really creating like the tribes, exactly, the tribes. And I think CIPIO is really about, choosing the people who belong to a tribe and actually reaching out to them in a unified manner to reach them better. And I think that is very different from the previous company that we picked, but also very, very important in this world because, it's at the end of the day, how do you get known? It's about marketing. How do you get your product known by the right people? It's all about marketing and reaching out to the right crowd. So a really great company as well. And I'll defer to Greg to summarize and conclude.
Now, this was pretty exciting for us. We love studying this and looking into it. The use of psychographics and AI to really understand who customers are, who they're following, why are they following them, and how to build a brand around that and directionally steer smaller companies to be more successful, to increase that loyalty base, to harness that revenue power. It's really exciting, and this is a great company for it.
Yeah, I agree. It's refreshing. So congratulations to my friends there for being an honorable mention runner-up on this award series. So now we're going to get to the Fitness Professional Award. And in this case, it's a leading industry professional. It's creating new and unique ways to serve the industry clients and communities around it. And this is, there's so many people. We had great applicants for this, that are just fantastic people that really are doing a lot of things from the heart. They're innovating and doing a lot of neat things. And, so I think this is in particularly a very prestigious recognition that is well deserved by many. The first one is somebody I've known for about 18 years. So again, that's why it's great to have Accenture helping here, because I can't be called biased. Anyway, and that first one is Sara Kooperman, and in her role at SCW and in other organizations. She also has Water in Motion. She was a significant distributor of Les Mills, and we were indirect partners for a number of years, working on common brands. Of course, she has her Mania events and did a lot of things around COVID to help fitness professionals stay on track with education, content, etc. So a great decision and choice. What are your comments?
Yeah, well, first I'll just say, Bryan, that you're right. There were so many excellent qualified candidates in this category, and really was fun to go in deep on each of these. Sara stood out to us as someone that has really had impact, and that was one of the major drivers in this category of how can we differentiate. So we really looked at scale, right? So there's no question that Sara has done that. I think they've reached upwards of 20,000 participants since COVID began, which is super exciting, right? So the world totally changed 2 years ago, right? And so Sara's company, SCW, was able to totally transform their model very quickly, right? And now they've been able to host these free webinars, right? They've went from being in-person conferences to being all online and reaching lots of people. So again, through that lens of reach and impact, Sara has really stood out to us as someone that has drove big change. And so for that reason, I'm happy to put her as number one in this category.
And also,
she's a driver of digital education.
Yeah. And she's so multi-talented. I feel like she used all of her skills in her career, right? Whether it's her education or being, very communicative, reaching out to channel. I don't know. She went to an CBS or also educating. Developing programs. She's kind of broadened her range to be able to be that impactful. And I think that's really what makes her strength in this case.
Yeah, I agree. I very much agree. Thank you for those comments. And Sara, I know you're going to text me after and say thank you, but I very much, I've known her many years, so well deserved. And then we had a great honorable mention here, which is Ed Navan, which they've done not only regimen, but now the recovery, and a pretty interesting innovation around recovery in general, which is a big new trend, as everyone knows. The brand, they have two brands now, and they have dozens of franchises across 9 states and some other licensure kind of arrangements that they are pursuing and doing. And I know Larry Connor works there, and I've known him for years as their CFO. So Ed, congratulations. What are your thoughts on his honorable mention runner-up?
Yeah, again, I'll say that this category is full of really solid people, and Ed stood out to us as someone that has made huge impact. So he's been in the industry, I think, for 16 years or so. And this combination of his two franchises that you spoke to, Regimen and Recovery, really kind of embodies that kind of innovative model that we're looking for. So I think Regimen kind of hits all the right boxes. They're able to work in 5 different categories: burn, box, build, rumble, blast, they call it. But basically, it's just an innovative way to say, hey, we're going to find a way to get fit, right? And have these kind of big hit workouts. And then kind of part B of that is how do we help people recover and feel their best and be their best selves, which is especially relevant in these COVID times, right? As mental wellness has become more and more apparent as people are really struggling. And so, at home so much. And so Ed's kind of combination of regimen and recovery was kind of a really neat, innovative, potentially very large risk that is, I think, really awesome. So really grateful to have I got to look at these different professionals and happy to nominate Ed as number 2. Caroline, Greg, anything you want to add to that?
The very business model between getting fit and being able to recover was really interesting to us. A lot of folks get the recovery piece, and that's an equal component in this whole process of fitness and wellness, for that matter. So for that reason, Ed stood above the rest.
Yeah, I couldn't have said it better. How to put recovery at the center of working out. And I think not a lot of people, like I live in New York, and I feel like there are a lot of people who work out 3 times per day to the extreme, but they never put the place. And like I certainly have not always put that recovery piece in the middle of my workout. And I think that's really critical to actually be a better athlete. So that's really a great runner-up, in my opinion.
Yeah, and a shout out to Ed's partner, Troy. And by the way, they live not that far from me. I'm in Louisiana. My main home is here. So again, it's great I have Accenture to make the choices. So that doesn't seem like awesome. A homie. But I know Ed has a partner and other people involved. But congratulations to you, Ed. Well-deserved honorable mention. And so here's our recap as we went through. Thanks again to the team at Accenture. Basic Fit and GoFit. Basic Fit, the winner. Of course, the ball company, the great MultiBall business with their cool gamification and all that they do. Basic Fit with their phenomenal omnipresent strategy and growth. And finally, Sara for all that she's done on the education side and programming side. All well-deserved recognitions. We will be following up with the winners, doing special podcasts with them. And of course, we actually send them a beautiful award of recognition. They are very deserving of the recognition. And to all the other people that applied, please apply again for the coming year. There were a lot of great finalists. It's unfortunate that we can't pick everybody. But the good news is there are people out there that are re-engineering our industry around new business models and innovation, which is why I'm so happy Accenture participated. And by the way, in the follow-up to this, we'll have content, and we're going to make sure that you know how to get in touch with Caroline and her team, because I know many of the major companies, whether a facility supplier or professional, could really benefit from expertise from an organization like Accenture. So it was a great honor to have such a group of knowledgeable professionals assist us in doing this. So I'm very grateful to all of you for that.
Awesome. Bryan,
thanks
so much for having us. Really appreciate you. This has been excellent.
Very well.
Thank you to all the applicants. Really
Absolutely.
Amazing work.
It was a great journey. Can't wait to continue this collaboration with you, Bryan.
Thank you all so very much. And everyone, thank you for being here. You'll see our posts coming up, just acknowledging the recognition to these various people and organizations for all their fine work. And let's keep innovating and grow this industry space and help a lot more people get healthier. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Hello, listeners. This is Bryan O'Rourke, and thanks so much for listening to the Fitness Plus Technology Podcast. The podcast is made possible by the Fitness Industry Technology Council, a consortium of global brands working together to enhance the adoption of technologies in the fitness space. Our company, Videri Ventures, which is invested in Vertimax, Montezuma, Gold's Gym, Houston, Texas, and Fitness 24/7 Thailand, also underwrites the podcast, along with our service companies, Integris Advisors, Moon Mission Media, and others. Please feel free to share this podcast with your colleagues. And if I can be of any assistance to you, don't hesitate to reach out, bryanko'rourke@gmail.com, or find me on any of the major social networks. Have a great day, and thanks for listening.